Welcome to the show called Beyond Our Galaxy. On this episode, we are going to be talking about NASA, Kennedy Space Center, and the future of space flight. One could possibly say that NASA started first with the Wright brothers. In 1903, the Wright brothers made history by proving that man could really fly like a bird in the sky. Hey Chuck, can you believe it?
Believe what, dude?
Man can fly just like us now.
Man, what will they think of next?
Mars?
Dude, I'm out of here. They're crazy.
"12 years later, in 1915, a special agency was created to meet the challenge of space flight. It was called the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. Or NACA for short. This new agency would be the overseer of what the future of space flight would eventually become. NACA would create the first space program research center. The race to space had begun. In 1953, NACA moves its headquarters next to Rogers Dry Lake. This is now located in California. NACA continues to grow in size and employees that will eventually pave the way for America to take the lead into space. NACA had continued to achieve many things. Man had finally broken the sound barrier.
They're crazy.
NACA had created Wallop Island Test Facility in 1945. It was here where rockets like today, other rockets are tested here as well. And so, the race to space continues. After 43 years of history of NACA, a new agency is born. It was now the hope that NASA would be able to do a lot of first things in space. The first director of NASA was T. Keith Glennon. Director Glennon now oversees three laboratories, which are Langley Research, Ames Aeronautical, and Lewis Flight Propulsion. But the Americans are typically set back when the Russians stun the world when they are the first to put a satellite into space, and then a human being is next. But the Americans bounce back.
Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
NASA now begins to develop programs to challenge the Russians into space. Another space center is created where rockets could be launched. It is called Cape Canaveral, located on the east coast of northern Florida. Bumper 8 is the first rocket to be launched at Cape Canaveral. The director of NASA today is So, with the successes of the Little Joe, Jupiter C, and the X-15 plane, America had gained a lot ahead of their competitor, the Russians. But for now, it is time for a brief PSA or public service announcement from your local community television station. So, get yourself a cup of warm coffee or a glass of iced tea, and we will be right back with more of Beyond Our Galaxy.
Hey, I'm Ted from GRTV, and I'm here to make a show about how to put a show on GRTV. All you got to do is have a tape, or a DVD, or a flash drive with your video on it, and you bring it down here to GRTV. We're at 711 Bridge Street. It's the second floor of the Bridge Street Library. Come on up. All you got to do is grab a form here, GRTV application for Cablecast. I already filled this one out. It's got my name of the show, length of the show, all real basic stuff about the show. And then you want to read through this contract. It's got some basic legal obligation stuff. Sign and date at the bottom, and then you want to put your contact info so we can reach you, your phone number, your email address, your whatever you've got to fill out for that, and then fill out a little survey on the back. And all you got to do is bring it in, hand it in to Liz, and you're done. That's it. You're done, son.
Woo! You're done, son. I like that. I'm a dork. I like that. Okay, well, that was fun. Okay.
I think that was good? I think that was good.
Welcome back to the second part of the show called Beyond Our Galaxy. On this part of the show, we're going to be talking about KSC, or short for Kennedy Space Center. Kennedy Space Center is located on the east coast of Florida. It is with the creation of this center that now America rises to the top of the space race. Before this place was called Kennedy Space Center, it was also called Cape Canaveral. With the launching of Bumper 8 rocket launched on July 24th, 1950 at Port Canaveral, NASA would soon develop this area into a more modern place where future rockets to space would be launched like the following. Project Mercury, Project Gemini, Project Apollo. Despite earlier setbacks with the Russians competing with a race to space, the Americans now take the lead. When the late President John F. Kennedy challenged America to be the first to land a man on the moon and then return him back to Earth safely, the race to space took on a greater challenge that will test the very soul and spirit of all Americans. Cape Canaveral was called this specific name from 1954 to 1962. Then America had another temporary setback again. On November 22nd, 1963, then President John F. Kennedy was killed. At first it seemed Americans would give up on this dream of landing the first man on the moon and return him safely back to Earth. Once more, the Americans not only had the technology, but determination to be the first to the moon. In 1963, Cape Canaveral's name was changed to John F. Kennedy Space Center after this late president. Americans once more rose to the occasion, and probably one of the most noticeable buildings people are familiar with is the VAB, or Vehicle Assembly Building. Once more with the tragedy of Apollo 1 disaster and the astronauts' death of astronauts Grissom, White, and Chaffee while they were performing a test flight mission. Fire breaks out in the command module and the astronauts could not be rescued. Tragedy strikes the space program once more. But once more, the Americans continue the resolve to be the first to put a man on the moon. A big machine called carry the Saturn V and Space Shuttle rockets to a place called When man, however, finally stepped foot on the moon, the ultimate prize had been achieved and the dawn of the new space program had begun. However, it is time now for another PSA or public service announcement from your local community television station. So get yourself another warm cup of coffee or a glass of iced tea, and we will be right back with the rest of Beyond Our Galaxy.
Exhilarating exercise. Competitive excitement. Rewarding experiences. Put every member of your family on the fast track with Michigan BMX. Admissions free and equipment affordable. Get the gang together for a fun, wild ride. Get the jump now on a track near you at mibmx.com.
All right, everyone.
Can we get it quiet on set?
I need track 3 queued and audio ready. Camera 3
On preview and ready to fade.
and we're ready to roll in 5, 4, 3.
2, 1. Music hit and fade camera 3.
Welcome to the GRTV studio. In this studio, Grand Rapids Community Media Center members have the ability to bring their experiences to life. If you have a hobby, skill, or experience you want to share,
this is the perfect venue for you to showcase your talents and ideas.
whether it's a talk show,
That's illegal. You have to keep that in mind. You really shouldn't say things like that on television.
talent show or a sitcom?
Potential writers, directors, actors, or just techies. This is the perfect place for you to hone your skills. Here are the next dates for the available classes. For more information, check us out on our website at www.grcmc.org or stop in at 711 Bridge Street for a personal tour of the facility. Hope to see you there.
Fade to black and music out. All right, that's a wrap, everybody.
Welcome back to this last part of the show called Beyond Our Galaxy. With the end of the Space Shuttle last mission flight, Atlantis, the end of manned space flights had come to an end. But now the big question is this. What is the next step for America's space program? Is America's space program done? Believe it or not, Americans will still fly into space. With the end of NASA's involvement with manned space flights, American civilians now lead the challenge into space. The next step is, how about a vacation into space and a stay at a five-star hotel? Just imagine what the view will look like way up there. NASA plans to return back to the moon by 2020. The next trip to the moon will carry 4 astronauts to the surface and then colonizing the moon with more humans to prepare them for Mars. But time will only tell what lays ahead for man when he looks up into space and beyond our galaxy. Hey Chuck, how'd you like to be the first bird to Mars?
Are you crazy, man?
Hey Chuck, where are you going?
To the South Pole.
Chuck, it gets cold there.
I don't care. I'll grow more feathers.
But Chuck, there's no humans there.
They're crazy. All crazy, dude. I'd rather be a hobo. I'm out of here.